Hello and welcome to presentation number 42. Today I wanted to talk about have you ever felt like you're all alone? Well, not maybe all alone, but have you asked God for some guidance or asked Him to be with you and you just felt like you are alone, that He's just not there? And you feel so discouraged maybe, or just saddened, and whether you're a Christian or not, well, I'm going to assume that you are a Christian, and you've looked at these Bible verses. There's lots of verses which offer encouragement, but I'm going to go through just a couple here. I'm going to go into the book of Deuteronomy in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy chapter 31, and on verse 6. And it says, "Be strong and of good courage, fear not, nor be afraid of them, for the Lord thy God, He it is that doth go with thee. He will not fail thee, nor forsake thee." So here it's saying that basically God will never, He won't forsake you, He's always with you. We're going to go to Isaiah, the book of Isaiah, in chapter 49, and we're on verse 15. And it says, "Can a woman forget her sucking child, that she should not have compassion on her son of her womb? Yea, they may forget, yet I will never forget thee." I can't really imagine a woman neglecting her child, obviously a sucking child, a breastfeeding child, or on the bottle, whatever. I can't imagine any woman neglecting her child. Yet, there are stories of where children have been neglected by their mum or their dad or whatever. So it does happen. But God assures us that He will never neglect us. Psalms chapter 34. Chapter 34, we want in verse 7. It says, "The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear Him, and delivereth them." And I'm going to read the next verse 2 as well. So I just read 7, I'm going to read verse 8 as well. "O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man that trusts in Him." And there are many, many more Bible verses would say similar, probably hundreds of them. But have you felt at times that God's just not listening to you? That you've gone through this hard time or trial, whatever it may be, all alone? Well, I've got a story I want to read out to you, and it's I think it really sets things in perspective. I don't know who wrote it. I forgot to look that up when I was looking up the story. I've heard this story many times. It's called Footprints, and the writing's big enough so I don't need my glasses on, so I put my glasses away. And it says here, "One night I dreamed a dream. As I was walking along the beach with my Lord. Across the dark sky flashed scenes from my life. For each scene I noticed two sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to me and one to my Lord. After the last scene of my life flashed before me, I looked back at the footprints in the sand. I noticed that at many times along the path of my life, especially at the lowest and saddest times, there was only one set of footprints. This really troubled me, so I asked the Lord about it. Lord, he said, once I decided to follow you, you would walk with me all the way. But I noticed during the saddest and most troublesome times of my life, there was only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you the most, you would leave me. This is the good part. He whispered, my precious child, I love you and will never leave you, never ever, during your trials and testings. When you saw only one set of footprints, it is then that I carried you. So when you're probably going through the hardest times of your life and you can't seem to feel God helping you, the fact is He's carrying you through it. No, there's Bible stories. No, Daniel refusing to worship the king, or the king's statue what he made. No, not that one. No. Yeah, refusing to worship the king. He'd done every day, and outside, near the window in his room, he would pray to God 3 times a day. And that became against the law. And so some of the other people in the palace, they told on Daniel, and the king said, no, you got to worship me. And Daniel's faithful to God and says, no, there is no other gods. You can read about this in the book of Daniel, by the way, and I'm just sort of paraphrasing it. And basically, the penalty for breaking that law was to be, at that time, to be thrown into the lions' den. And I'm sure the lions were very hungry at that time. Daniel refused to pray to the king and openly pray to his God. And of course, he was thrown into the den of lions. God didn't stop him from throwing him into the den of lions. God allowed him to be thrown in there or put in there, whichever way, lowered in. I forget, I don't know which way it was. But anyway, he was put into the lions, and I'm sure the lions were walking around him, but they didn't touch him. Now that would have been a very trying time. Yet, God was with him. The lions did not touch him. Then you got Daniel's 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They refused to worship the statue that the king had made. And the penalty for not bowing down to that statue was to be thrown into the fiery furnace. And not just, wasn't just a hot furnace, it was heated up so many times hotter than what it usually is. These 3 young men, they refused to worship the statue, the idol, the false god, and they remained faithful to the true living God. Did God stop them from being thrown into the furnace? No. He allowed them to get thrown in there, but not even one hair on their body was singed. The fire had no effect on them. Now sometimes There are other Bible stories too, where people who remained faithful to God got stoned to death. And well, they probably went through a bit of pain, I'd imagine. I'd imagine it would be a bit painful getting stoned until you die. But God was with those people as well. The stories of the Inquisition, where people were martyred for their faith in God and not bowing down to the evil rulers and to the false gods. Now, God let all these people go through what they went through, but He was with them all the way. And like He promises, He will never leave you nor forsake you. And when you're going through these hard times, He is there right with you. He is carrying you through it. So never forget that. Okay, God has promised. He is faithful in His promises. And even though things might get sad and bad and ugly, God is always with you and always remain faithful to Him. You will never look back on it. Because one day when Jesus comes again to take His people home, there will be no more of these trials anymore. All sin will be destroyed. We're going to live in heaven with Jesus for the endless ages of eternity, in eternal joy and happiness. I don't know about you, but I like the sound of that. And so I just want to encourage you to remain faithful to God no matter what the circumstances. He's always there with you. And I'm going to close it off here, and until next time, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Goodbye.